Hi, I'm Jamie Fitzgerald, entrepreneur and adventurer. We all have tough days. Let me tell you about one I've had recently. In 2003, I was rowing across the Atlantic Ocean in a tiny rowboat with Kevin Bigger, 5,000 kilometres between Africa and America. On day 2, it was the worst day of the entire trip. Day 1 was great. Flat seas, calm skies, everything was wonderful. We were rowing 16 hours each every day, an hour and a half on, an hour off. Day 2 came around. I won't tell you about every single day of the trip, they were awfully similar. Day 2 came around and it was the worst of the entire lot. Headwinds coming up, head currents coming along, pushing us back to the start line. And here we are, rowing our way towards Barbados. Kevin and I realised we had a choice. What we could have done was put out a sea anchor, a big parachute that goes in the water, and with the wind pushing you backwards, you can't because you're holding onto the ocean. We tried it for 5 minutes, and we realised those head currents were pushing us backwards. So after 5 minutes we said, no thanks, we pulled it in. We said to one another, what's the alternative? We didn't know what all of the other crews were doing, 19 crews deciding their own fate. We decided, let's keep on rowing. We changed our shift pattern, re-geared our oars, redistributed some of the weight around the boat, but for 39 hours, fundamentally, we kept rowing. After 40 hours, we called our manager and asked how our progress was going. We hadn't moved anywhere over the face of the earth. He looked on the internet and he could see where we were compared to every other crew. And these are his words. He said, fellas, however you're dealing with this race, don't stop. Don't stop the process and the way that you're deciding how to deal with these tough days. Every other crew decided to put out their sea anchor, and now you're 30 miles in front because everyone else has gone backwards. So we haven't moved anywhere, and we're in front of the race, in front of the fleet by 30 miles. After 40 days, 5 hours, 31 minutes, we reach Barbados, break the world record and win the race. The distance between first and second? 32 miles. Who would have thought that on day number 2, the decision that we made to keep rowing could arguably affect the outcome of the race? I wouldn't have thought that. So it got me thinking. Sometimes when we think that tough times are all around us and things are really difficult, we need to keep in mind the conditions are often the same for absolutely everyone. So can I put this to you? Today you have a choice. You can either put out the sea anchor or you can keep rowing.